This is August 2023, Saturday, read by Leah Mahoney, The Boy Who Became God. Pages starting with page 8 to I don't know yet, but you do since the video was recorded when you watch this. But the man pondered, "This does not seem balanced in my own life. As I have many times desired to be a woman but denied myself in pursuit of selflessness, as I had known that another would depend on me that could attain this, why must I wait to seek the moving in of myself rather than depending on another? Is it not selfish to want this for myself?" "No," the voice said, "because that is exactly what she wants." She, he thought, but this thought was many of hundreds now. So like a waterfall it fell into the pools of the mind. Now I must rest, or I must work. But contemplation is something that needs to cease. So now I realize that for ins and outs in my life I have desired to be a woman, was a deep recess in me attempting to mature as one? Have I suppressed this, and if so, should I embrace this? Perhaps the voices that this conjuring will provide will give me more information that will help me on my question into the abyss of my continuation of existence. This young man for long lasts in his life had desired to be like a woman, and though a long time ago he was haunted and scarred for lusting the body and actions of the woman, he fought this after a great battle and achieved victory over this. Yet now, with the return of these ideas in a different light, he began to wonder if he was truly free from this madness, or now, as he no longer had desires for such things, but became aware for the reasons of them. This is not the return of the hauntings in my earlier life, but like an old friend I had departed after a great tragedy. Since we have met again, it is expected for the sadness of the past to be brought up again, but this is because we have not seen each other for a long time, and seek to meet ends, so that we may start again in the future. And now the man accepted, with the unknown changes occurring, with this ever-changing hunger for something inside of him. Not only did he desire to become a woman, but he also desired to be a man, whom he now regarded as his true form. Why is this? Why? And what will I become with this hunger? Chapter 2. How, as a healthy young man, shall I escape the inexcusable lust of the culture I am in? They are like cannibals, seeking the flesh of each other, pursuing their pleasures without even realizing that they have committed spiritual cannibalism against each other. It is not so when two are married, as they are one and the same, and like a spider eating its own web occasionally when it is hungry. It is not like the sinful black widow, which eats its own husband. However, eating one's own web is a temporary substitute until a real catch has been made. But I am not talking about the spiritual cannibalism that many will enact in their lives. Not at all, but of what is meant for the spider, the fly. Though in this metaphor the fly is a living being, in actuality I am not talking about something alive, but of something that is not conscious yet is matter. The fly is not another spider, and so it is not cannibalism, and this fly is manna, the food of the gods. And so with this manna Christ has said, "You will eat my flesh." And though this may sound frightening, this is not speaking of cannibalism, but of manna, which is not skin or blood at all. It is nor of the body or anything resembling it. It is the Word that is the manna. A wise man knows that the manna exists, but a god knows how to farm it, how to serve it, and how much to eat. It is something that many miss, as it is right under their noses, and between their lips, something that is invisible yet recognized by anyone, though its idea of being is ignored. Why do we speak? To serve each other, so that we may be filled with knowledge, and that knowledge is manna. To be or not to be, I am, therefore I will, and because I will thee to be, I am already, without trying, what I seek before I had even spoken. And so, because one with God has nothing left to desire, it is crucial for one to recognize that nothing is not as we perceive nothing, but a space for our manifestation, and so to be filled with God's Word. We are full of knowledge, and now that we want nothing, and have all that we need aside from nothing, with all of our might we will seek nothing and find it, and it will remain this way forever. Just as I am filled with knowledge, and so write these words on this page, out of my abundance of generosity to students and myself, unbound by the confines of time, I have reawakened my inner nothingness to discover the potential that has lied dormant inside me for all of these years, and now I have complete control over which I had thought I had no control over. It is of humble cries of satisfaction that the young man may seek to be free from the bindings of his past, that his mind reaches deeper into the depths of this murky ocean of understanding, that the body is not the man itself, but of the earth, and that our soul is not the earth, but a witness to it. And so we will provide our bodies food, like, to provide it with something, to return from where ist it became. And so when a God creates his body, his own body that is formed of the earth is his and his alone, and may change it to fit his purpose. Though it is a humble grace to assume the birthhood from others who are separate from us, at times when circumstances must be perfect, to rid the risk of an unjust upbringing due to the fall of man, that we may bring up ourselves and create our own bodies. And so, this body, made of food, has become a medium to what we consider to be food. Once it is recognized that death does not exist in these devices, it is a mere spectacle to the undoings of the devastation of one's own mind. The one whose mind is being devastated is the young man who, upon hearing these ideas, questions his sanity. Have you no shame? I had understood that at first you were speaking against cannibalism, both spiritual and physical, but now you speak of it. How dare you, you imp, to assume that I would let you speak these thoughts for a moment without vanquishing your being from my mind? Why are you not quivering out of terror as I quiver with rage? Do you wish to haunt me, to justify the sin of my past, to fill my mind with these ideas? You will certainly try to guide me to the beginning of temptation, but I will no longer abide to your ruling, as I am much stronger than you ever will be. But a voice returns to me and said, You misunderstood dearly. You misunderstand dearly. I am incredibly sorry. Never will I dare say such words with you, and that is not what I mean at all. Never would I justify the murder of one's own body or the body of others. It is paradoxical to maintain the directive of how the actions of a single being may manifest into the worlds that one resides in, and how with these actions one may have hungers and desires that are not equivalent to that of others, but are perfectly just for the worlds that they inhabit and is natural for them. Then the young man said, Why do I have these cravings? What do they mean for me and my future family? I will not become a monster in my own eyes. And how would becoming a woman make you a monster? It asked. The young man said, It is by pleasure that this has happened, surely, and to go down this path will lead to unspeakable evils, I am sure. But the voice said, If that is true, then why don't I show you how it will appear? And so the man's appearance was changed, and he became a woman. But this had happened as soon as he had fallen asleep. And so he did not remember this in the coming morning, but in the reality where he regularly traversed in his dream world, he was a woman, and he was satisfied with it. But the man, who remembered this the next evening, questioned, How can this be? Why is this okay? The hunger I have felt is still there. Tell me exactly what is happening so that I may see. This is confusing and it makes no sense. And so the voice said, Though it may sound strange, you have become your own mother, and with that you have given birth to yourself, and the law can be rewritten to whatever it is you seek. And to this, you are me, capital M, me. Now, though this has not happened yet, I would be a failure to tell you things that you cannot see, so I will show you. When the sun has fallen each night for the next while, you will become a woman of a different appearance, and you will not resemble your old self. Mirrors are your doorway, and you will be able to see any place at all through such mirrors, and walk in and between them. And with this, the story will continue, as I will place the words in the air onto the inscription of the inner workings of nature. Time will be my puppet, and you will be moved into a different place each night. And with that, the man, confused as ever, stopped writing and told himself that he would not write again for the remainder of the day. What is this that I have written? What is this I have written? When will I stop writing fiction? Will I ever achieve normalcy? I am growing weary, as it is like every time I am woven together, I unbind myself, spending each day again and again to achieve the same nothingness I had over again, like a cursed man tasked to pointlessly roll up a stone up a mountain over and over again, a horrible tragedy of pointless labor. But is not the common man tasked with this? No reward but an eternal hell. Perhaps I am the one who is blessed by this. Would I be lazy to not give myself the burden of lifting this boulder? Or would I be wise to realize that I am confining myself, repeating a memory like an echo, and that to start again in my life, I can stop this madness? So, the beginning of chapter 3 next. So, the point is that I think if we burden ourselves with work to eat food, to make food and then eat it, it's a perpetual cycle that seems unbeatable of, if I have to labor and enter a dying state to farm this food, and by eating it, I will be doomed to repeat that again. How do you break out of that cycle? And it seems like the answer is that this path that this person is on is finding the root of what he is to becoming me, so that he can change himself to no longer need food. And that by continuing this path of the me, he will be able to find out why he needs food. And it is different for everyone, but the result looks the same. And I think it is because of the real reason of why is because of it's seen in materialism, is that we see such a reward for such a small cost of what it takes to get it, that we consider it to be lacking of a choice to decide what would happen, because it seems like it'd be so obvious what it is to try to get the little consequence to get the massive reward. But the point of the me is to learn, even if it takes nothing at all, I don't care about this reward at all. And if anything, I find it dissatisfying to need it at all. And when you learn that and act on that, you begin to change to actually go outside of this reality. And with that, you begin to, I think, regenerate. And there are some practices that will help, like being in a room by yourself most of the time, not being materialistic, your room being almost empty, and not doing things like going on social media, and rarely doing things like listening to music or playing games, whatever. but actually listening to yourself and only yourself, and not the noise of the people and the diseases in the world, that you can finally start this path. So it's not the path. I wouldn't say the path. I'd say that sounds too mystical, and like someone else I don't want to mention is like, it's like a book. Is you need that, what all those things people say is the in pursuit of, I finally become enlightened. Being enlightened is like everyone's finally gone, everything's quiet, I can I feel concentrated, like I can concentrate right now. I am ready to start reading this book. So that's what being enlightened means, is that state. So you could say it's a meditative state or whatever. It looks different for everyone, and there are multiple ways that it can happen. So, but it's a state where you are disconnected completely from everything else except you. And when that happens, nothing is happening, which is the point. It's like a blank slate. And if that is the end of what you're doing, it will be completely meaningless. And I think practically every time anyone reaches this point, they think this is the destination. They think, why is God not answering my prayers? Or I'm bored, or this is pointless, I give up, or things like that. But the point is that being in this state isn't waiting for something to happen. The point is nothing will happen because you are supposed to do it. So if I give you a pencil and a paper, you shouldn't be surprised when nothing is happening, because that's the point, is you're supposed to do something. That's the point. And that's how it works on the planet, is that it's with these miracles and things, the point of being empowered by the Holy Spirit or angels or any magic or anything isn't that something else does something for us. It's that we're given the pen, we're given the paper, and now it's do something. So that's the way that these beings actually help you, is by not doing things for you. They give you the means for you to do it. And it's because I think when you are the person that you should be, when you know who you are, that it doesn't matter what you write, because it's just for you. But no matter what you do, as long as you do something true to you and it means something to you, then you will see that whatever has happened is manifesting into reality. And that's why I don't write things down, is because I try to enter this state as little as possible. Because I found, learning from the few times I have done this, rather than continuously seeking this state, has intensified my energy so much that even thinking of those few moments that has happened, that I can manifest my thoughts into reality from nothing, just from remembering the moments that has happened. And the thing is, if I lose all of my memories, it can happen all over again, and I don't have to start over, because no power is lost, but it builds up each time you do it. And so that's the best way I can explain how this works, and you can try it for yourself. And I've never heard anyone explain this before, but that's what I do, and I never did explain it before, even to myself. It's just something I always do, and I don't think about it. But I notice that things I think of just manifest into reality. Like last night, I was thinking of driving around because I was worried of like being able to take care of myself as driving and getting groceries. And my dad told me today he had a dream of me, and I think the same time I was thinking this while I was awake, that he had a dream of me driving around like frantically. It's like that I did that while I was awake. And so that's been happening with my diet combined with doing this, is that the point of entering a regenerative state to replace food isn't intense effort, it's an active regenerative state so that you can emit as much energy as possible uh, with the least amount of energy. So it's not moments of focus and training and then an intense effort. It's doing it all the time, but focusing and tweaking your low energy state so that even if you do emit a very high amount of energy, for you, it's very low. And in very few cases do I ever try to emit a high amount. So whenever I'm noticing reality changing around me, based on very few things I do, I'm not even trying to do that. It's just from thinking of things I'm already doing throughout the day, and it's growing more. And that's how it works, is that if you do it that way, it's not you do a ritual, it's not you do a prayer or whatever. It's that you're actively creating a reality around you out of nothing, and it takes no effort whatsoever. And if you do this, what I've noticed is that you'll be so much caught up in your own reality that the only thing you'll really see is your own sort of aura. So, like, I don't really even see anything else around me, and it's almost like I'm blind, except, and when I'm by myself, I almost think, am I blind? Being blinded? But I can have complete clarity in everything around me, but it almost feels like I am blind. So then I might interpret that as a message to myself or someone else saying to me with that same energy, that energy aura, whatever I have, is that I'm hearing someone talking in a conversation and they don't know I'm here and saying, "Are you blind?" Or they are saying that to me, is that I'm actually entering into another reality from applying those methods. So I thought, since I'm planning on leaving, that I might as well say how leaving the earth. So I think that's the end of this video, and I'm going to eat more corn. So this has been Liam Mahoney at my shop Treasure Hoard. Thank you for taking this treasure to your home.